So it turns out I can actually read the spec sheet, and I was right. This is the same, but different, but still same, but still quite critically different. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety of Wooks Triple XL. I've got the LE500 on the test bench this week. I did the LS520 last week. Sorry, I meant to get this out last week. It's just been a little bit like chaos trying to run an esports event through level 6 load shedding. But we're here and we're alive and we're making the things happen. So, LE500, it's kind of similar to the LS520. It's made with all the same brackets and fittings, which is the really good news. So you get all of that premium LS520 fittings in the package. The pump head and everything is a lot smaller on this edition. No infinity mirror, just a nice clean face finish. You can orientate this pump though with the connecting pieces themselves, actually with the pieces that connect onto this. But the rest of the furnishings and fittings are really nicely done. Daisy chain cables for your PWM headers, for your fans, etc. Everything is nicely checkboxed for a kit on this price. And as I think you will see later, it's actually got like a really cool like niche application. This pump, compared to the LS520 though, runs 1000 RPM slower. And that is going to obviously be quite noticeable when you do get to benchmarks and performance. But they have scaled their product really, really nicely. So if you took the LS520, compared it to the LE500, and then compared it to this AK400, which I've been using on the test bench, then it's making sense as like per level that there is a performance improvement, especially when you're looking at smart fan curves and stuff. Then these fans do exceptionally well. It's one of Deepcool's honestly like biggest strengths is the quality of the fans. They pretty much use the same fan on absolutely everything, and it's, well, not really too much of a difference here. These fans, however, have rubberizing only on the back. So it's going to be nicely shielded from rattling between like the fan and the radiator, or between the case and the radiator. So if you had a radiator, case and then fan, it would then stop the rattling. But on the front side of it, there's no rubberizing, unfortunately, which is something I think that they really should have done for this edition. I know that these are probably a bit more on the premium end, the ones that have the full rubberized corners, but it may have been nice to finish it with that. It's still going to be good though, and it's still probably not going to rattle inside of your system. If it does, what I would suggest is just get a couple of rubber shims and maybe put one on each corner sort of thing, and then you should be fine from there. Just a normal rubber washer, even from the hardware store, would probably do the trick. So it's not something you can't work around effectively. The rest of the kit is very, very straightforward. You've got a double daisy chain that then connects into your motherboard, and then the pump itself connects directly into the motherboard as well. I like that as well, because then you can max out that fan header to make sure that the pump's getting full power all the time, so that you don't need fan curve to cure a system that's got a slow pump. Because if you didn't know, basically the loop itself, because it's open and it doesn't have a thermostat, it has a thermal efficiency point that it's going to hit just based on how fast the water and stuff is moving. That's why having a really good pump is quite critical. But Deepcool is quite confident, obviously, in the quality of this pump still, because this kit still has a 3-year warranty attached to it, which is really, really nice to have at 1399 as well. It's very in line with the price point and everything. And this kit, I think it does have a very strong competitor in the Evetech, but I don't know how good the performance is going to be, because like I said, that performance scaling is done really, really nicely. There's only a couple of degrees difference, as you'll see I'm putting on the screen now, between the smart fan curve on the LE500 and the LE520, or the LS520. But as you obviously get more heat from bigger CPUs, that gap is then going to widen based on that percentage. So you're looking at like a 15% performance boost in getting the more premium kit. It's obviously got RGB fans, that really nice daisy chain system and everything they've done on that. But if you just want like a really good budget cooler, for like not a lot of money, this Deepcool, the finishing quality of the product and stuff, the fittings and stuff are all exactly the same as they are on the premium kits. So you just really taking a step back a little bit on performance. Another thing that I really, really like about this kit though, are these rubber tubes. Instead of going for the sleeved ones that are really hard to bend and stuff, this is incredibly easy to bend. If I just give you a demonstration, there's almost no resistance when I do that. So if you were looking to put it into like an M-ATX build or an RTX build, and you've got a tight angle to turn on, then this is actually going to be the perfect kit for you. You're probably also not going to be running like a 200 watt CPU in that sort of environment. This 12600K, it basically didn't get anywhere even near 60 degrees, especially if you look at the average temperatures and stuff from those benchmarks that I showed you. The temps and stuff were extremely well kept within. Whereas if you're on a tower cooler, you're going to go north of 60, maybe losing you some boost and some peak or efficiency from your 12th generation processors. There's no doubt that the AK400 is incredibly good value because of like its 600 Rand-ish cooler, right? And it's very close to being on par with this sort of performance. But I'm testing in the winter. That's one thing. So like I say, when you get to summer and that ambient temperature increases, those gaps are going to widen like a lot. You're probably going to see more than 10% differential. So if the gap right now is 10%, I would assume that it would go to about 20% because the ambient temperatures, well, air coolers are very reliant on ambient temperature. Whereas water cooling, well, it's got water in it, isn't it? So that water is always going to be, you know, room temperature or less, especially when it's flowing through a radiator and it's got fans attached to it. So I think your noise profile advantages from this set will be very good. Speaking of 100% fan, once again, quite a loud boy. It does get up to like 50 odd decibels. I think I've got a little recording of me with the decibel meter there showing you that. But yeah, it does get pretty loud if you're on full fan. But as it stands now is the intelligent fan mode. There wasn't like a massive gap in performance between the two, but it is nice to know that if you do throw some fan curve, you are going to get some better temperatures. So if you want to use this on like an 8 core or 12 core to do some rendering, then it's going to be quite nicely suited to that as well. The only thing for me on this kit is just that lack of RGB. I think in the current climate, having one solid color might just be a mistake for some users, you know, who are trying to get like themes and stuff going through their build. A lot of gamers are quite proud of that these days. I myself had a Stormtrooper build before, like where I went with white and black on everything, and now I've gone into like more of a stealthy build where I've completely sort of blacked out my RAM and my cooler, etc., and just gone like more into like gunmetal grays and darker colors. And if I was looking at this cooler, I'd be like, there's no way for me to turn off the LED even. You can't even turn it off. It's just solidly on. That's about the only caveat or correction I would make for this kit as it stands. Like I said, the finishing quality and stuff on Deepcool products is exceptionally good. I'm super glad this is at Evetech. This brand is just, it's continuing to surprise me with its quality and ease of use and stuff like that. It's very nicely engineered, well thought out, and unique. You don't have to go far to go, oh, that's a Deepcool. You know, it doesn't look like anybody else's product. Very, very nicely done. Just in general, I've tested now 3 of their major water cooling kits, and every single one is just nicely segmented. So like, to give you an idea, the castle's more for like if you're doing everything Deepcool, then it's got hubs and stuff that are specific to the Deepcool products, which make it better to integrate with other Deepcool products. The LS520, on the other hand, is more like a general integration thing where it's got standard RGB headers and connectors and does its own daisy chaining so that you only have one header out. You could probably daisy chain that into another system quite easily because it's got just a standard A-RGB header. And this is just their budget, more entry level. You need a water cooling kit. We'll give you a pretty damn good experience at a much lower price. Anywho, that is all I have for you on Deepcool cooling for now. I'm probably going to be doing a few more of their products as they do new releases and stuff. Very excited to do so. Deepcool, if you want to send me stuff, please feel free to do so at any time because these things are kind of fantastic. Anyway, that's all I have for you in this review. If you have enjoyed it, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.